Western mythology remembers them as the Assassins, a shadowy cult of killers operating in the mountains of medieval Persia. The historical record, however, reveals a sophisticated survivalist state navigating a lethal geopolitical landscape. In the year 1090, a religious leader named Hassan-i-Sabah took control of Alamut, a fortress perched high in the Alborz Mountains. He was establishing a safe haven for his followers, a minority Shia community known as the Nizaris. This map shows the impossible geopolitical position they faced. The Nizaris were a scattered network of isolated mountain strongholds, entirely engulfed by the Seljuk Empire, a massive, aggressively hostile Sunni superpower, eager to wipe them out. Facing total annihilation on an open battlefield, the Nizaris had to adapt. They secured their survival through a highly calculated strategy of psychological warfare. Instead of raising a standing army they could not afford, the state deployed the fidais. These were highly trained, deeply devoted commandos who carried out targeted strikes to deter enemy aggression. In 1092, a Fidali disguised as a Sufi mystic approached the Seljuk vizier Nizam al-Mulk and killed him in public. It was a precise, high-visibility strike designed to freeze the Seljuk leadership with paranoia. While they projected terror outward, their internal society was remarkably disciplined. The daily life of a Nizari Ismaili in this era was defined by strict, orthodox observance of Islamic Sharia law. Their physical survival relied on calculated violence, while their spiritual identity hinged on rigid legal obedience. And then, without warning, the leaders of Alamut decided to break that system entirely. On the morning of August 8, 1164, representatives from across the Nizari territories were summoned to the courtyard of Alamut. Imam Hassan II stepped before the crowd and read a message proclaiming the Qiyamah, the Great Resurrection. He instructed the faithful to physically turn their backs on Mecca. He ordered them to break their Ramadan fast in the middle of the day, and he invited them to join him in drinking wine. With these actions, he announced that the burden of orthodox Islamic Sharia law was officially and permanently abolished for the Nizari community. In a single afternoon, the community set aside centuries of legal tradition, trading the safety of the law for the commands of their leader. To the Ismailis, the Qiyamah was not the physical end of the world. The literal law was merely a shell. By cracking it open, believers accessed esoteric truth. The ritual veil was lifted, granting those who recognized the true Imam direct experience of the divine. Mainstream Sunni Muslims reacted with horror. They universally condemned the Nizaris, branding them as extreme heretics who had abandoned the faith entirely. But the Nizaris deliberately chose this isolation. By elevating the word of their living Imam above centuries of established legal tradition, they became an untouchable spiritual island surrounded by a sea of enraged enemies. 2 generations later, in 1210, a new Imam named Jalal al-Din Hassan III took power at Alamut and delivered a profound historical whiplash. Hassan III publicly repudiated the Qiyamah. He ordered his followers to immediately reinstate strict orthodox Sunni Islamic practices, including the daily prayers and the fast. To prove his sincerity, he went to extraordinary lengths. He invited conservative Sunni scholars from hostile territories deep into the highly secretive library of Alamut. He gave these outsiders explicit permission to inspect the Nizari archives and to burn or remove any foundational texts they deemed heretical. The absolute decree of the grandfather to abandon the law was erased by the equally absolute decree of the grandson to restore it. This sudden reversal was a calculated act of taqiyya, religious dissimulation designed to protect the community. By adopting Sunni practices, Hassan III successfully forged a crucial diplomatic alliance with the Abbasid Caliph. He needed that alliance because a catastrophic threat was approaching on the horizon. The Mongol Empire was advancing through Asia, promising total destruction for any isolated, unallied fortress. It is a jarring contradiction. A community whose sacred laws are abolished, then reinstated, and then purged by a line of leaders they believed to be infallible. For the Nizaris of Alamut, the law itself was never the ultimate truth. The living Imam is the master of the law, not its servant. In a volatile, rapidly shifting world, His absolute authority was the only permanent anchor they needed to survive.